Now we're going to look at some examples of subordination. That's when we add a dependent thought to a simple sentence in order to create a complex sentence. We do this in order to add variety to our sentence structure. Now I have some examples on the board, and I have written out two simple sentences for each example. So we're going to need to do two things. One, we're going to need to take a dependent word and turn one of these simple sentences into a dependent thought. Basically, we're going to turn one of them into a fragment. Once we have it as a fragment, we can combine it to the other simple sentence with just a comma. So let's go through this step by step. I have two simple sentences here. Jodie Foster became an acclaimed movie director. She began her career as a child actor in movies like Freaky Friday. So you'll notice on the slide next to you, I have a list of the most common dependent words. I also have this list as a handout for you in this module. So take a look at those dependent words and see if you can spot one that we can add to one of these sentences to make it into a dependent thought that would make sense. I think adding the word before to the first sentence would do what we want. So let's try that. I'm going to write, so before Jodie Foster became an acclaimed movie director, now we can add comma, she began her career as a child actor in movies like Freaky Friday. That makes sense. And so now we have what we call a complex sentence. Don't forget, we also need to change the capitalization here. Write that as a lowercase she. All right, well, let's take a look at the next example. With this example, we're going to have to do a little bit of rewriting for one of the sentences. Joe must pass the exam with at least a B. He will fail the course. So take a look at that list of dependent words. The one that jumps out at me that would make sense would be to add unless. Now, like I said, we're going to have to do a little bit of rewriting to this sentence to make it grammatically correct. Let's change this to unless Joe passes the exam with at least a B, take out that period, replace it with a comma, he will fail the course. And we need to change the capitalization here. So unless Joe passes the exam with at least a B, he will fail the course. So we haven't changed the meaning of these sentences. We've just used a dependent word and a comma in order to combine them into one complex sentence. We do this because it adds variety to our writing.